I'm here with Robert Lackie from KC Soapery, and he is here to talk to us about confetti soaps. He is the master of confetti soaps.
Thank you, thank you.
And so he's got some soaps he wants to show you that he's made in the past and the different looks that you can get. And then we are actually going to make a confetti soap here today.
So I brought some soaps to show off. This is kind of your standard confetti soap with all the different mixtures when you pour it in, stir it around, and make your soap. I'm going to try to hold it here where you can get kind of an idea of what it looks like. This one here is more of a deep color. This one, the HSCG Guild Best Scent of the conference. And so, very, very popular soap.
And let me tell you, it does smell amazing.
And it's made just with a lot of herbs and spices that I soaked in lye water to bring that scent out. And it's just really got a spicy...
It's amazing. You said this is 2 years old?
2 years old.
And it still smells really strong.
It's really good. It's really good. So, then I played around with some different kind of natural colorants and to see what I would get. This is kind of a green, kind of botanical that I decided to make a soap with no color and one with a little bit of green botanical as the base and use the exact same shreds. So one of the things that I will do is I'll start off with shreds, you know, like this, where we just grind it right through the salad shooter from like a regular bar of soap. Mm-hmm. And then once we kind of grind it the second time, here I'll show you, it becomes really granular. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is I keep notes of what soaps I grind up so I know what kind of blends I have. And that way my label appeal is a lot more interesting. When I grind this up, like I was talking here, it turns out really, really tiny. And then when I go to use a stick blender to bring this together, mm-hmm. I really work at it. Like if I'm doing like a soup or a stew or a sauce, and I take my immersion blender and I really want to bring those elements together mm-hmm. in, you know, to bring flavor out. It's the same kind of thing I'm doing with the soap. Mm-hmm. I want a just before emulsification kind of soap. And then I start to grind this up because I only have so much time mm-hmm. before it starts to misbehave or come together.
This is really dry.
This is really a dry
so you
kind
let
of,
it cure?
I usually dump it out on a pan like Amy has here.
Yeah.
And I just leave it. I have a soap studio in my basement that mm-hmm. I have racks where I can just pour this out and let it sit. Once it's dry, I use kind of like plastic, I don't know, Tupperware kind of containers that I just put a airtight lid on mm-hmm. and I keep it until I'm ready to make something that I'm going to use with that. This one has kind of a spring look because we're desperate for spring here in Kansas City. The winter was bad.
Yes.
So I keep thinking that I might do something. It has kind of a little bit of a lemony floral undertone to it. I think I may do a pink base with these like little speckles in it, and that really way pretty. It'll be a pretty soap and it'll be ready for spring and Mother's Day.
And this is just kind of your signature.
This is kind of my signature thing. And you know, in the beginning I didn't think it was all that popular. I primarily make soaps for agencies, for people who are in transition, women and children's ministries. So I donate a lot, and then I have kind of a small boutique-ish kind of website that mm-hmm. needs work, but I sell a bit of it online, and then I sell a lot of it word of mouth. Anyway, I appreciate you asking me to come along and help you with making a recipe here today.
Yeah. So since we're doing the mirror glaze designs for the April challenge, you end up with all this over pour. And so one of the ways that you can use up that soap is by making confetti soap. And that's actually one of my favorite ways. And so I went ahead and used the over pour from the advanced cake soap that I made with the blue in it. And for some reason, I think the fragrance just didn't play very well in the base part of it. And so the orange got really ashy. And
Now I was surprised looking at that.
so I went ahead and just put it through the salad shooter then. And so we've got this nice confetti. Now Robert would put this through the salad shooter twice in order to get that
in
fine
order to
grind.
get the fine kind of texture like we were talking about.
Yeah, but I think we're just gonna try with this. So what I really wanted to do was make a darker orange background. That was kind of the goal with this soap, and it didn't quite get there. So we're gonna try it again. I've got some really red from Nurture,
That's good.
and I've also got some neon orange from Mad Micah's. So, and if we need it, I've got a sample of some yellow as well, if we want to do that. So, should we make some soap?
I think let's make some soap.
All
I
right.
am ready. Hi everybody, I am back with Amy, and we have prepped our oils in our last solution, and we've got our shreds right here ready to go, and we're going to show you kind of like what we both do when we start to use the salad shooter right here that you can get just about anywhere. So I just cut it in pieces that are going to fit down in the tube. So we've got our gloves and our glasses on, and we are ready to go. So I cut these in long pieces,
Yep.
and
Do it.
I'm just going to take off this little extra,
Stick it back in.
and we're going to stick it in there with our little pieces, and grab our bowl. You know what?
Just do one at a time, probably. Oh, break it off.
I'm just
There
going
you
to
go.
break that. You know, you have to kind of work
Yeah.
with what you got. And here we go. See how pretty that looks? Now that's fresh, so it's a little sticky, but it will work just fine. It will go together beautiful. Okay, we are back, and we've got our lye. It has cooled down well enough for us to work with. Our oils are warm and they're ready to go. So I think we're just going to make sure this is all clear. Good. And pour in, and then we're going to move this out. And I'm just going to like move this around before we get into stick blend. Tap with the bubbles out.
And this recipe actually does have quite a bit of saturated oils in it, so it will set up.
That's why I
Fairly
didn't,
quickly.
that's why you heard I just did it like a little bit.
Yep.
Now, so what I'm looking for, actually I think we're emulsified.
Probably are.
Okay, so then we are ready, because it didn't take long.
Now this recipe sets up pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So Amy is grabbing some color, and I am going to scrape out all this good soap so we don't waste anything. Now, we used Nurture Soap's Abo Bath
Yep.
right here. It's really, really good. There is a good bit of the scent in our shreds. I'd say we have half of a sample bottle left. So we're going to go ahead and add this to our soap.
All right, so I have some of the neon orange in there, and I'm mixing that up with the really red and a little bit of the yellow as well. And that's just mixed in with some olive oil.
Okay, so
However much you
I'm
think.
going to just check and see what it looks like when we start to stir. Ooh, how beautiful is that? But I think we want a good saturated color, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's go ahead and we're just gonna
That's good.
just dump it all in there.
You went for it.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna tip it up so you can see right down in here. I don't really need to use a stick blender right away because it's come together, because I don't want to speed the trace up. Okay, so what I normally do is I love this consistency where it's a little oil. You see the sheen of oil, but it's all mixed together. And then I start adding the shreds at this point. So I just start taking, and I just kind of sprinkle around.
So we did 1-to-1, right? Soap base to shreds.
Yes.
So we started out with 40 ounces of shreds, and it was 27 ounces of oils to create 40 ounces of soap for our soap base.
Okay, so the typical process for confetti soap is when people add it in, I never just pour it over shreds because you're going to end up with so many air pockets that it's just going to be really bubbly, and it's not going to turn out so well. So here you see that I've got a lot of the shreds in here, and if we were just going to just do this as a standard recipe where we're just going to mix the shreds in here, this is what we would do. See how I'm just folding it over like I'm making a dessert? So I just fold it in. I want to make sure everything is wet before I do any kind of stick blending, and I'll show you. This is what I think separates some of my stuff from this kind of recipe. So that looks pretty well mixed. I'm going to get in here with the stick blender, and I turn it on high because I want it to chew through a lot of what we've got going here. And I just kind of like mush it down. And I'm not looking to do it throughout, just enough to break it down. And make sure you don't come up where it's going to splatter out on you. We're all covered in long sleeves and gloves, and we have glasses on. So do you hear how it's coming? It's a little looser because it's easier to kind of cut through. So at this point, I'm just going to mix around, and I'm going to do a little more. So I'm just going around and around, kind of like a figure 8. And then I'm going to mix around. I just kind of take it and start to tump it in. We have a tiny bit more to go for the fill line, so there we go. There's one. We are going to have some beautiful soap, don't you think?
Yes.
What do you think of the base background against the blue and the little like neutral tones?
I think that's going to be gorgeous.
I think it's going to be a really pretty soap. Thank you, Amy, for letting me show you how to make my version of Confetti soap.
Oh, I am so glad that you were willing to do this for us. Thank you so much.